Using protest as a tool to express one's grievance is a right, inasmuch as such protest is peaceful. However, public analysts have also pointed out that there are limits to a person being allowed to exercise such a right, particularly when it infringes on the rights of other people or it affects public peace negatively. The ongoing nationwide protests against rising cost of living have afforded an opportunity to x-ray the desirability or otherwise of using public protest as a tool for calling attention of government to citizens' needs. Now, this is in view of the destruction and carnage that trails such protests. Official police report on the nationwide protest that began on August 1 revealed that at least 7 persons were killed across the country, while millions of naira worth of government and private property were either looted, destroyed, or carted away by hoodlums who took advantage of the situation. Though 618 suspected persons have been arrested, genuine protesters, however, are noted to have been unable to control the situation, prompting analysts to suggest the use of dialogue with government to resolve the situation, a view earlier canvassed by many NGOs even before the protests kicked off. On Panorama today, we'll be looking at sustaining peace through dialogue, and Justice Ogwe is our guest, a public affairs analyst and peace advocate who will be on the wings to give some perspectives on the need for peace building. Welcome to Panorama. I'm Ruth Aguwele. Security personnel were here dispersed protesters converging on Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja. The police say protesters are allowed to gather only inside the stadium for free flow of traffic. Joseph Otsen is monitoring the situation and will give us an update in subsequent bulletin. And in Lagos, we hear some protesters have converged on the designated area in Ojota this morning, saying the protest will continue. What informed the continuation of the protest, they said, is because they believe the president did not address their grievances during yesterday's address. Meanwhile, security personnel are on ground monitoring the situation to maintain law and order. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Adegoke Fayoade, is engaging the protesters. However, there is free flow of vehicular movement and business outlets we hear are opened. President Bola Tinubu's call to nation building, urging protesters to suspend further protests and embrace dialogue, has been applauded by the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC. In a statement by the Executive Director, Awal Musa Rafsanjani, the organization acknowledges the President's recognition of the grievances driving these protests and his commitment to listening to and addressing Nigerian citizens' concerns. Rafsanjani says, with President Tinubu's emphasis on unity and collective effort in reshaping the nation's future, all Nigerians should work together for a better Nigeria. Another related development, against the backdrop of President Bola Tinubu's nationwide broadcast, some groups on the platform of the governing All Progressives Congress have aligned with the government, saying the president's speech reflected on the realities of economy, as they commended the ongoing reforms under the Renewed Hope agenda, which are already yielding the desired results, according to them. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
The APC presidential campaign office came alive 14 months after the formation of the Tinubu's presidency. But 3 days into the nationwide protest, these groups believed the presidential broadcast answered too many questions. and put issues in the right perspective.
I want to commend the president of our great country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for for the giant stride that he has achieved in the last 13 months, and again to call on our youth to please give peace a chance, to allow the presidency to properly settle down and address some of the challenges that our youth are agitating for.
There is no public outing that Asiwaju has done that he has not identified, acknowledged the suffering of the people.
Rationalizing some of the highlights from the president's speech, speakers said removal of fuel subsidy and other critical reforms were difficult decisions the government has to take, but with a long-term impact.
That fuel subsidy has to go. But again, Mr. President has introduced more innovation into the fuel subsidy crisis.
He has just spoken our mind, and that we understand there must be hardship. And during the campaign of Asiwaju, he told us there will be hardship, no doubt. And that is a sacrifice to pay for the change we are expecting in the nation.
The groups, however, appealed to youth occupying major streets in the country to vacate and embrace dialogue for the parties concerned to broker truce and pursue a national agenda for all. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
All right, we have a guest in the studio. I told you earlier, Justice Ogwe, a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Ogwe.
Thank you so much.
You have to speak a bit loud. I can't really hear you.
Thank you.
All right, great. Of course, following the president's broadcast yesterday, the need for dialogue is again being reiterated. We've had that even before the protest began on the 1st of August. But what's your take going by what has played out from 1st, today's 5th, and we're still seeing protesters still come out and say they're not done?
Thank you. The president delivered a very encompassing speech, stating the issues that we're currently facing. The protest is justified. However, some Nigerians don't understand the difference between lawful protest and unlawful riots, which could result to anarchy and thuggery. In every sane country, it is okay to protest. It's a peaceful way. The Constitution encourages peaceful protest, which is part of a democratic practice. But violence and vandalism is not part of protest. And when protesting, you must try to calm down, give room for dialogue, so the government can meet your demands.
Okay, talking about these demands, there's also the aspect where citizens are expected, talking about civic responsibility, and we can mention civic responsibility without patriotism. There's this call also for unity, beyond dialogue. We should come together, sacrifice for nation building. How would you react to that?
Yes, sacrifice is very important. I feel Nigerians should channel most of their energy to the state governors. Government comprises 3 tiers, and currently what we're practicing is called federalism. Federalism is a government in which the powers and authority are shared among the 3 tiers of government, comprising federal government, state and local government. Now, under this, the Constitution empowers lists, which are functions of different tiers. The governments that are solely responsible for exclusive list, which we have powers, defense, and the rest. We have concurrent list, which is a function that is meant for the state government and the federal government. And in this aspect, the state government has not met up to their demand. If the state governments implemented the policies and budget as planned and disbursed allocation, there will not be need for protest at the moment. So the sacrifice comes from the state government, and I implore citizens to channel most of their energies and our grievances to their state government, because the government at the local level is the one closer to the grassroots. We're supposed to reflect on the lives and impact of the citizens.
Well, not too long, we saw the local government autonomy come alive, something that has been pushed for a very long time. Now, of course, we'll wait for that to have a ripple effect on the people, talking about the local government having, projects that will impact the people directly. But it's good you mentioned state governments. Now, to be specific, what kind of interventions, should states begin to do, talking about state governments, because they are directly closer to the people to reduce the burden from the federal?
Yeah, thank you. The state governments, I mentioned a list earlier, which I talk about concurrent list. Now, in concurrent list, we have education, agriculture, food production, and the rest. If, for instance, in 2022 and 2023, as a state governor, you received $1 billion as allocation, and currently with the reforms that have been going on, which is yielding forth positive impacts, you are receiving 300% of your initial allocation, which is about $3 billion, for instance. It's supposed to reflect on the lives of your citizens. It's supposed to reflect on the citizens. It's supposed to show from the production. And now, what is currently going on is hunger and bad governance. That's what the protest is all about. And the bad governance is they fail to implement the policies that were directed from the state, federal government. And that is why the people are not feeling the impact of the policies and the reforms that the federal government has directed so far.
Okay, Mr. Ogwe, you've been direct, talking about the essence of the protest that we're seeing and the role of the state government. Well, let's look at the role of the citizens. We've talked about them being patriotic, but at this time that the government is calling for dialogue, what will be your own appeal?
My appeal is to the citizens, in as much as there is hardship in the country and hunger. We're not going to undermine the effects, but there is always room for dialogue. The government has acknowledged your hardship and your struggles, and it is time to give peace a chance. Let's allow peaceful dialogue and give government time to resolve and provide solutions to most of the things we outlined. You can't keep going on the street to protest, vandalizing properties and infrastructures, thereby sabotaging the economy of the country, and you also expect the government to react positively to your demands. So we must try to give peace a chance. Let's embrace the olive branch and give peace a chance. Let the government implement most of the things that we've said so far.
Indeed, and some of the things the federal government has stated, some of the policies we're seeing is expected to yield results in the coming months. We heard of the CNG, conversion that will ease transportation movement and all of that. These are some of the reforms expected, Nigerians should, take in and be patient. Let's talk about the role of religious leaders and also community leaders, how they can also step in at this critical time of our nation.
It's very important to talk about the community leaders and leaders of different organizations in the country. We must support the government. If you're a leader and you have followers, you ought to address your followers, give them orientation, make them to understand that Nigeria currently is broke. Nigeria as a country is broke. The government is only trying their best to revive the economy. There's a global recession that is plunging the economy of every nation. Nigeria is not an exception. So we must come together to support the government, the federal government particularly, to tackle these issues and ensure that we come out greater, because the purpose of the reforms that have been going on is for futurity and for the country to be greater in future and for our generations to come to benefit from the results. So we really implore the leaders across different organizations, churches and mosques to come together to give peace a chance.
Indeed, giving peace a chance is the only way we can stay united as a people, because divided will continue to fall. Thank you very much, Justice Ogwe. He's a public affairs analyst. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you so much.
Let's ponder on those thoughts. We're back after the break.
In a land of peace and harmony, we cherish our freedom and unity. But around the world, we've seen how protests can spiral into chaos. What starts as a peaceful protest can sometimes end in anarchy, tearing communities apart.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days.
So those who experience it will run away from it.
Let's learn from these experiences Let's value dialogue over destruction. Together, we can build a brighter future. Let's choose unity. Let's choose peace. Join us in the Peaceful Future Initiative, because together we can make a difference.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
Thank you for staying tuned. Earlier, we told you that protesters converged again today at Ojota there in Lagos. So we want to join our correspondent, Larry Gbeleyi. He's there live on ground. Larry, you've been monitoring the situation right from the start of this protest. And one good thing we've been hearing from Lagos is that it has remained peaceful and calm. But you tell us, what is happening right now?
Well, it still is, Ruth. It still is. It's still peaceful. It's still calm. But I was here yesterday, and then in front of me, the Assistant Police Commissioner, Paul Okafor, engaged the protesters yesterday around 11:12, and they agreed to disperse. The police commissioner was saying, look, the president has addressed you, and you should go and listen to the address. And they decided to disperse. Only for this morning, surprise, surprise, they are here again gathered, saying that all their grievances have not been addressed yet by the president. And that is the reason they are gathered this morning. But that notwithstanding, vehicular and commercial activities are going all around them as they are protesting. And they are all outside here doing the protest. They've just finished dancing. It's more of a protest, a peaceful protest. They insisted that it's going to be a peaceful protest, Ruth.
All right, Larry, thank you very much for that update. I know you're safe where you are, but please just keep staying safe, okay? Thank you for that. All right, Governor Duye Diri has again advocated dialogue as the best option to address issues rather than resorting to protest or violence. The governor stated this at the weekend in the Government House, Yenagoa, during a media chat. Temipre Ohia, who was there, reports.
Questions from journalists from different media organizations, the governor spoke on ongoing nationwide protests, stating that Bayelsa remained largely peaceful and secure because of the resolve of Bayelsans, particularly the youth, to key into the peaceful disposition of his administration.
It was a proactive engagement before 1st of August. It didn't just happen. Out of those engagements, we dialogued, and everybody came to that inescapable conclusion that we don't need these protests. Because one, it was going to be hijacked. The genuine protesters cannot control the protest.
Responding to questions on power generation, the governor explained that his administration had commenced the process of building an independent power plant and that discussions with investors has been very fruitful.
We have the natural resource, gas. So I have personally written a letter to SPDC to give us a quantum of gas with which we are going to relate with the investor. So the state government will have the gas, the state government will provide the land. You come with the equipment so that we have an independent power plant in Bayelsa State.
On the flood alert by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, the governor advocated that the federal government needs to do more by providing a permanent solution through building of dams to contain flood waters. On teachers, he said, a few weeks, the process to employ 960 secondary school teachers will be completed and the successful candidates will get their letters. in Yenagua, Timinepri, or here, NTA News.
In other news, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, has declared Tuesday, 6th August 2024, as the first day of Safar 1446 after Hijrah. A statement signed by Professor Sambo Wali Junaidu, Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council, Sokoto, says the committee, in conjunction with the National Moon Sighting Committee, did not receive reports from various moon sighting committees across the country, confirming sighting of the new crescent of Safar 1446 after Hijrah on Sunday, equivalent to 4th August 2024. It states that Monday, 5th August 2024, is the 30th of Muharram 1446 after Hijrah. Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, accepted the report and accordingly declared Tuesday, 6th August 2024 as the first day of Safar 1446 after Hijrah. The Benue State government has constituted a commission of inquiry to unravel the immediate and remote causes of attacks in Ukum local government areas and its environs. At the inauguration of the commission, Governor Hyacinth Alia charged members to come up with facts to enable government address the security challenges in the area. Let's hear from Elias Etiev.
Local government area and its environs has over the years been a center of banditry attacks, leading to the destruction of lives and property. The constitution of the 5-man Judicial Commission of Inquiry is to investigate and ascertain the remote and immediate causes of insecurities in the Ogun local government area and other communities affected by crisis in the Sankra axis, and to recommend possible solutions. Governor Hyacinth Alia, at the inauguration of the commission, said the move is in fulfillment of government's constitutional obligation of protecting lives and property.
Investigate and determine the actual number of lives and property lost as a result of the disturbances, attacks, and security breaches, and certain the persons directly affected by same.
Chairman of the commission, Justice Samson Itodo, on behalf of members, assured the governor that they will do everything possible within the law to deliver on their assignment.
Transcribed within the ambit of the law, as well as within the limits of human endeavor to discharge on our mandate.
The Judicial Commission of Inquiry has 60 days from the day of public hearing to submit its findings and recommendations to the government for necessary actions. In Makudi, Elias Itiav, NTA News.
And next, let's bring you sports update.
President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the Tigers for being the first African nation to reach the quarterfinals of the Olympics. The Nigerian ladies claimed a 79-70 victory over Canada at the Women's Basketball Paris Olympic Games, qualifying for the last 8. Hours after defeat, President Tinubu said the victory reflects the team's hard work and determination. The president commends the team for their uncommon demonstration of teamwork and diligence, and also commended the coach and managers for their dedication. He enjoins the brave Tigress not to rest on their oars until the final victory is won. President Tinubu assures the team and the entire Nigerian contingent at the 2024 Olympics of his support as they fly the nation's flag at the global sports events. Meanwhile, some basketball fans have expressed joy over the Tigers' victory and enjoy the players to maintain team spirit as they confront defending champions USA on Wednesday at 9:30 p.m.
I think they've done the African continent proud by being the first basketball team, male and female, from Africa to qualify for the quarterfinals, and then not being lucky now, they've been drawn against USA, but they've surpassed all our expectations. They have nothing to lose. So against USA, I think the girls should just go out, play their game, and win or lose, I think we're all proud of them for what they've achieved at the Olympics.
I can only wish them better. They defeated Canada, and USA is our next opponent. And from history, USA is a top, a hard nut to crack. But with the right passion and determination, I believe they're going to do well.
To tennis, Novak Djokovic has beaten Carlos Alcaraz in a thrilling fashion to secure a long-awaited Olympic title. Djokovic, who has won a men's record 24 majors and swept off every title there in tennis, finally clinched Olympic gold at his 5th attempt. Djokovic put in his best performance of the year to beat French Open champion Alcaraz 7-6, 7-6 in front of a packed crowd in Paris. Away from the Olympics, the Ondo State government has awarded contract for the upgrading of some facilities at the Akure Stadium. The State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Saka Ogunleye, who disclosed this during his official visit to the stadium, promised that the state government will further motivate the athletes to perform at the forthcoming National Youth Games and National Sports Festival. With sports updates, Ijoma Pitawante, NTA News.
And that concludes Panorama. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Agwele.